Welcome everyone to the Side Draft Podcast, and today we're going to review the race from the Auto Club 400. Kyle Busch wins the race, his 53rd Cup Series race. Pretty impressive by him.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive to get the 53rd win in the Cup Series. I know it's a good mark to get to. Congratulations to him.
And we'll move on to the race review. At the beginning of the week, you all know what happened. We did a separate video about it. Because it was just so crazy. The qualifying at round 3, no one made a lap.
Yeah, the record lap time was 0.000 at a speed of 0.0.
Fastest going 0 miles an hour.
Yeah, to get the pole like that, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, and so because of their speed in round 2, Austin Dillon would get the pole. Kevin Harvick would be outside pole. So in stage 1, we would see both of them struggle a little bit, and also Austin Dillon had the flu, I believe, before the race.
Yeah, they had Cole Custer on standby just in case he couldn't make it and drive the car anymore. And it's kind of funny because he's the only Xfinity driver left in California. So Chevrolet had to sign off and saying that they allow a Ford driver to drive the car just in case. I
was really confused. Why was it Cole Custer and not someone like Tyler Reddick? But at least Cole Custer got to have like a party on RCR's pit box.
Yeah.
And then Hamlin would lead lap 1. Almirola would come back and lead lap 2.
And where did he come from?
I'm not sure, but he would extend the lead to like a second. Denny Hamlin would eventually make his way back and pass Almirola. Kyle Busch would make his way to pass Hamlin. I was like, wow, this package may be wild today. And that was kind of the last we saw of that.
Yeah, that's pretty much as over then. So
then Kyle Busch would basically cruise, while Blaney would be the first to go to pit road. Then Ty Dillon, he would have a flat tire, head to pit road. And Austin Dillon also had a tire issue, so
there's a lot of tire issues. I don't know what was happening on days. Just set the pressure's too low, and it was really eating the tires up.
So that would bring out the caution. Busch would pit. Hamlin and Stenhouse and Bowyer did not pit. Everyone else would pit. Stenhouse would crash, along with Martin Truex Jr. got some damage from that, as well as Kyle Larson. William Byron barely just made it through there.
Yeah, we thought Byron probably got a little bit of damage, but actually he just barely missed it by inches. Truex, he was really coming up through the field, He qualified back in 24th or something like that.
27th, I believe. So, we thought, he could battle Kyle Busch for this win, and then we never really saw him again after that.
Yeah, because he raced his way all the way up in the top 10, and then that happened to him. It really messed his car up. He really couldn't recover from that.
So stage 2 to begin would see the 3 other Gibbs cars pit, and Kurt and Bowyer would pit. Bowyer had to because he was having like some engine issues, and he said it was really difficult to figure out if he's actually blowing up because of this package.
Yeah, he said he thought he was down a cylinder. I don't know if it was a spark plug wire or something like that, or he was smelling oil, or he just didn't know if it was the package. So it's really a lot of confusion going on at Auto Club.
There would be Kyle Busch versus Joey Logano. Logano would take the lead, but momentarily, as Kyle Busch would take it back and just cruise. Then Daniel Hemrick would have a tire issue, and he would head down pit road. Left some debris, but no caution for that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I thought the caution would come out, but unfortunately it didn't.
Keselowski would make moves all the way to second. We saw him struggling in like 20th position for most of stage 1, and then all of a sudden, here's Keselowski.
Yeah, usually stage 1... I think he did it in Atlanta. Kind of bogged out in the first stage, and then he come alive in the second stage.
Then we'd see pit stops again. Hamlin and Harvick would be the first down pit road. Then Bubba Wallace would be too fast exiting. He's just not having some luck on pit road this year.
Not really.
Kyle Busch would win stage number 2, sweeping the stages. I would say it's impressive with the new package, but really it kind of makes it easier to win stages if you have the fastest car.
Yeah, if you get out the clean air, you can just pretty much stay out there all day.
Kyle Busch would lead off pit road, and then too fast exiting. That's something he's had issues with. We saw in the Xfinity race yesterday, not necessarily speeding, but uncontrolled tire, and that costed him the race. It would have costed him the race today, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Hamlin would also be speeding, and for some reason with Denny Hamlin, we'll see him at the beginning of the race really strong, and then he'll just fade, and we'll never see him again.
Yeah, they got put way back in the field. What was it, like 19th, 20th, something like that?
Yeah, and Kyle, he would just slice through the field basically. Hamlin struggled a little bit.
He would make some crazy moves.
Yeah,
past like 3 or 4 cars at one turn. So, he had a very good handling car. He can go to the high line to the bottom line. It just seemed like the cars would stall out in front of him.
Yeah, when they would get side by side, they'd just stall out, and then if you're the car behind, you can just cruise right on by. And then Keselowski would lead after that point, as Kyle Busch would just make his way up to 6th. He would be 9 seconds back. There would be no way he could catch Keselowski, I thought.
Keselowski, he was gone. I mean, he had like a 3-4 second on Harvick at that point.
Which Harvick was second at that point. And then as the pit stops would happen, Kyle Busch would stay out, and then somehow he gets so lucky every time he needs a caution, he gets one. Would it be someone else? It seems like they never get it. But luckily the Irish was on Kyle Busch's side today, because Bubba Wallace would bring off the caution, which I thought it was pretty interesting. The 43, which is Richard Petty's team, which everyone's making this correlation between the two.
Yeah, the big deal about the 200.
But 43, Richard Petty's team, helps Kyle Busch get to 200.
Yeah, I don't understand why come Bubba, everybody's starting a pit cycle. Why come he didn't go ahead and come down, knowing he probably had a tire feel like he's going down. So
yeah, he was like 2 laps. Is just trying to get one of those back.
I mean,
late in the race, I really don't see why. I mean, I guess you're fighting for extra positions, but it really didn't help the racing at all. But
no. If it wasn't for the caution to come out right here, I don't think Kyle Busch would have been able to make it up to.
And it would have been interesting to see if he could have.
Yeah.
I mean, if he could have, he deserved it. But, I think it really took a lot of the interest away from the race, because he would get first and he'd get it by a large margin. And then, he would lose some on the next restart while Ryan Blaney would stay out. And Brad Keselowski would take the lead. Kyle Busch, he struggled on these initial starts, but then we saw the Team Penske teammates battle each other, and they just stalled each other out, and Kyle Busch cruised right on by.
Yeah, I believe it really hurt both their cars. If they would have maybe lined up and drafted and got a little further out, and then maybe raced each other towards the end, it could have been different. So I ain't sure what went on with that. I know that they both want to go for the win, but it's just tough.
Yeah, I would say if I was in Logano's shoes, just push Keselowski, get away from Busch, and then we'll settle it in the last 2 laps. Yeah, that's what I would do.
I don't know if Logano's car is a little bit better at that point than Keselowski's or what it was, but I think it just stalled each other out, and that's what caused Kyle Busch to catch up to him.
Yeah, we saw Logano just trying to, eat into the lead, but just couldn't do anything with it. And Kyle Busch basically cruised to a win, which is very impressive for him. But I wasn't too impressed with the package today.
It kind of seemed like Logano raced Brad a little harder than he raced Kyle. I was like, I understand that. So.
I think he just lost all the momentum racing his teammate, which again is very questionable.
Yeah.
But you just couldn't do anything with the best car. You needed to keep him behind you. Then he got in front of you. There's nothing you could do at that point. I do think if there was a late race caution, it would have been interesting.
Yeah.
But You know.
Yeah. This package today. I ain't a very big fan of it today.
No, I mean, and I know last year we had Martin Truex winning by like 11 seconds, but there was some great strategy in that race. This year, we didn't really see that besides Kyle Busch staying out. That's really the only strategy.
That's only really.
So we did see a few comers and goers. We saw Harvick struggle at the beginning and somehow managed to finish fourth. I know they said Stuart Haas is struggled with the West Coast cars because they have to keep those cars through the entire 3 weeks. They knew what changes to make, but they couldn't make them until we get to Texas.
Yeah, and Truex he fought his way back up to a top 10 finish, so it's really good for that team also.
Yeah, it was. In this season, you get these races where it's like, it was decent. I don't want to say it was a bad race at all. It was an okay race. It's one we're probably going to forget by the time we get to the playoffs.
Probably so. I mean, it just didn't have that excitement really.
Yeah, which I think is because everyone said we're going to have pack racing this week. We're at a 2 mile track. We're going to have it, and then we get the exact opposite.
Yeah, they get strung out. I mean, because it's really hard to handle around the other cars. It's hard to pass, and man, it's just I don't know what they need to do to help this package to be a little better.
Yeah, and I am interested to see how these teams have adjusted to it. Like I said, they can't really bring any different cars, or they couldn't bring any different cars through the 3 weeks here. So I'm interested to see what teams will be strong at Texas, because will Stuart Haas make the right adjustments?
Mm-hmm.
Will Joe Gibbs still be dominant? Well, with Kyle Busch,
Yeah.
Denny Hamlin and Truex have still been struggling, and Eric Jones, he's either top 5 or non-existent, really. So, really, Kyle Busch is dominant in the Joe Gibbs stable. Then Team Penske, all 3 of them have been really great. Will that continue?
That'd probably continue. I believe the Penske cars they're really on it. There's 1, 2, 3 at one point, and it seems like all their cars are all together as a whole. Compared to like Gibbs or Stuart Haas, they're kind of scattered out. I believe Team Penske is really sharing their same info, and they're going as a good organization going forward.
Yeah, I would say that, what I said with Joe Gibbs is the same as Haas right now, because Harvick, even as last year, he was number 1 in that series, or in that stable there. Almirola, I would say, is the next in line.
Yeah.
And then Clint Boyer, he's still trying to get used to the package, I think. Had those weird issues today. And Daniel Suarez, really haven't seen much from him yet.
He's trying. He's floating around the top 10 there. So, he's still trying to understand this new package too. But once he figures out, I believe he's going to start picking up speed.
Yeah, I believe so. Maybe in the summer he'll get really strong throughout the course of the season.
And also, I believe Daniel Hemmert actually helped out their program at RCR because Austin Dillon was running better, and they went back to Daniel Hemmert's setup.
Yeah, so we could see RCR, at Texas. They could be one of the top teams.
Yeah, and look out for Kurt Busch. I mean, he's right now leading the field in the Chevrolets for Chip Ganassi Racing. So, I mean, I thought we'd see more out of Kyle Larson today, but I believe he got in that damage and it just destroyed his car.
Yeah, with the new package, I wasn't sure if it was going to be at his advantage or disadvantage. Everything I say about the package turns out the opposite, so I don't know. So
yeah, it seemed like he was trying to run the high line today, and everybody else ducked down to the bottom and then scoot up right there in front of him, and it's just where he wanted to stay, up in that high line. Just couldn't really get maneuverability in his car.
Yeah, I think the main issue with the package is there is not much throttle response. I mean, there is a little bit, but I think that's the main issue. That's why you don't really see second place eating away first place's lead. So will we see some changes to the package? Probably. Will we see changes to qualifying? Most likely. So
Probably so.
It's going to be interesting to see if things will improve through the season, but so far it is, it's decent, but not necessarily as great as the package we had last year.
Yeah, and one good thing is the West Coast swing is over, and the cars and the team's going to get to come back to the East, and so we get to see Martinsville next.
Yeah, and I think it really helps some of the teams that were struggling, because now they got Martinsville, which is, it's a beast in its own.
Oh yeah.
And then I believe we have an off week the next week, so they'll have 2 whole weeks to study what they have, what changes they can make, go to Texas, and just like the Xfinity Series and Cole Custer, dethrone Kyle Busch.
Yeah. And
also dethrone possibly Team Penske.
Yeah, because I believe Penske's really hitting on some stuff right now. The qualifying side ain't that great, but once they get going in the race, they're pretty awesome.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to next week. I'm not going to say what it's going to be like, because every time I do, it's not. So I'm just going to enjoy some racing next week.
Yeah.
Which we're going to be there in person, so that's going to be really exciting. But first, it is time for our sponsor spotlight. And who is taking the spotlight today?
We're going to go with Plan B Sales. They a big distributor of die-cast cars, especially for Lionel Racing. So just check them out. And that's a pretty cool car Bubba's they had out there today.
Yeah, I had some names of the people that ordered the die-cast, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, even though Bubba didn't get a good finish today, it was a pretty nice looking car.
Yeah, some of the names were thrown off on the track.
Yeah. Because
of that tire issue they had, but
yeah, just go to them and just check them out. Tell them thank you, and we really enjoyed their support in the series, and just looking for more diecast.
Yeah, and now it is time to give a shout out to who found Dale Jr. last week. This week it was found by Lisa_Nor on Twitter. Thank you for playing along, and I know you really enjoyed it. I went through every single one and showed us where Dale Jr. was, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's glad to see a new follower here, and so thanks for playing along.
Yeah, so that was our race review. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next week for Martinsville. And also tomorrow we'll be live streaming to celebrate our 600 subscriber special. And also it's going to be our 100th episode. So
if you got any questions, just come on the live stream and ask a few questions. We'll see if we can answer them.
All right, we'll see you then.